What does this signal about whether or not we should expect to see more deterioration in the economy leading up to November, or for it to remain strong before voters head to the polls?
Well, first, one of the reasons I think consumers have been so grumbling and so complaining is because they are continuing to spend. And that's great for the economy. It's actually great for households that they're able to do that. And it's certainly going to prevent us from having a consumer-driven slump. But what they're doing is they're out there spending more money on high prices, and it's making them really frustrated. You asked, what does this mean for the economy? It means the economy is stronger than we thought, and it's been pretty strong. So we don't have any real recession fears ahead of us. But what we do need to do is ensure that inflation continues to come down all the way to that Fed target of 2%. And we want to do that without seeing unemployment get much higher. Even though we saw that stronger GDP growth, we have seen the labor market weakening, and we really don't want to see it weakening by much more. So I certainly still hope that the Fed is planning on cutting rates in September because it is time to take our foot off the brakes a little bit and allow the economy a little bit more breathing room to be able to ensure that people keep their jobs. But I think what we see is that somehow this American consumer has kept on keeping on, even in the face of rising unemployment and higher prices than they were expecting.
Well, and when it comes to addressing higher prices and just addressing the economy overall, we're starting to get the broad outlines of what each of the presidential candidates would like to do. Donald Trump obviously is advocating for tax cuts. Kamala Harris is talking about subsidizing things like housing and down payments for first-time home buyers. And it does raise the question of how economically and fiscally responsible these kind of ideas are. I spoke about that with Catherine Edwards, economic policy consultant at the Rand Corporation, earlier this week, and this is what she told me.
It's a more sure problem on the Trump campaign side because they are proposing a tax cut that costs over $4 trillion. That's one decision that has to be made. And if they pass it, we are $4 trillion more in the hole. Harris's proposals are piecemeal, right? One could cost $500 billion, one could cost $1 trillion, but that would still be dwarfed by a single policy that Trump is completely and totally committed to.
Betsey, how are you analyzing the potential economic consequences, be them for growth or inflation, of what we've heard from each of them so far?
What you just played was interesting because it's sort of like a risk assessment. Like, boy, if Trump's successful, we're definitely in trouble. And Harris could fail a whole bunch of different times. So who knows how much she'll end up spending. But look, I think that's not it. I want to look at it in a different way. And the thing is, we already don't bring in enough revenue to pay for what American people want. When you ask American people about the programs they get, when you ask them about things like Social Security and Medicare, they like their government programs, and we're bringing in too little revenue, right? So like Donald Trump has proposed cutting taxes on Social Security. Do you know what that will mean? Cutting Social Security benefits because there won't be enough revenue to pay the benefits that are promised. So we have to think about fiscal responsibility is about bringing in enough revenue to pay for the things people want. What we hear from both of them, though, is very populist ideas. So Trump's sticking with that sort of right-leaning conservative populist idea of, well, we'll just give everybody all their money back. And we won't tell them that means we're going to have to gut the programs they've been counting on, like Social Security. And Harris is leaning, into a different kind of populist programs, like we're going to fight the corporations that are raising prices on you. Now, look, price controls, it is a policy that we know a lot about because it has a perfect track record of literally never working. So you've got Harris leaning into things like price controls. Although if you read what she's really saying, I think what she's saying is, look, we're not going to let companies take advantage of you. And we already, almost every state already has rules on the books that say companies can't take advantage of you when there's sort of like a quick change in demand that could lead them to do price gouging. That's illegal in most states. I think she wants a national policy on that. I don't know that it would actually do that much. If we turn to things like her spending program, like she wants to give a lot of money away to first-time home buyers. That would certainly be fiscally irresponsible and put a lot more money into the housing market if that's the only thing we did. But I think it's important to realize that the government already puts tons of money into the housing market through the mortgage interest deduction. And that's mostly going to wealthy families buying big houses. So my hope is she's got a great proposal. $25,000 for first-time home buyers is a great idea. Let's just hope it's balanced with, maybe reducing the handouts we're giving to wealthier families with big houses.
Well, that's not the only thing that Kamala Harris has put out there. She is right now in Georgia. She's on stage at her rally in Savannah. And before arriving there, she was speaking with some small business owners, saying that one of her priorities is to invest in small businesses. So next week, she will be rolling out a tax credit for startups and for small businesses. This is tax credits, right? It still raises the same revenue question, Betsy?
Yeah, exactly. So, tax credits is what economists call spending through the tax code. It cuts into our revenue. It's another spending program. You gussy it up in a way that it looks like a tax program, but it's just really another spending program. I can understand why she wants to lean into that. If you look at why the U.S. economy has been so successful compared to other countries around the world in maintaining ongoing economic growth and bringing inflation down with very little pain in terms of a contracting economy, in terms of job loss, it's been because we have had an unprecedented surge in new business formation. And I think the job of anyone in government right now is to figure out how to keep that business dynamism that really exploded coming out of the pandemic to continue growing. So I'm thrilled that she has policies there. It's not surprising that she wants to put some financial incentives behind it. At the end of the day, what it's going to come down to is that's a great way for us to be creating incentives. But how are we paying for it, and what is it being balanced with? Are we balancing that with corporate tax reform that might raise taxes on more established corporations and try to push more incentives into the system for new companies to form?